form for any number of reasons. Most importantly, it's for our legacy Wesley students who are now Delaware State University students. I imagine that many of those students are on the call today, along with even their parents. That's a good thing. What you'll find here at Delaware State University is that when we have to share information or make ourselves more clear, we will be forthright, straightforward, and try to do that specifically for your success. It's important to know that as we went through the acquisition of Wesley College, what we thought about was becoming a bigger, better, and stronger university. Having you, each of you, with us makes us stronger. So we are committed to your success in the same way that we're committed to every Delaware State University student success. But I do imagine it could be daunting to have this kind of disruption as you are transitioning through college. Daunting to understand the Delaware State University culture and processes, and daunting to make sure that you are able to get to your dreams and goals. Here's the good news. We're in the dreams and goals business. So we believe that the customer, and that is the student, is the primary point of contact for us. So getting it right with you means we are getting it right. And quite frankly, when we don't do it well or haven't done it as much as we should be, we have forums like this to make sure that you are clear around every expectation and also every tool that you need here to be successful. This is a grand institution, 130 years old, a very proud HBCU legacy, and one of the most diverse and contemporary institutions in the country. You're in good space and in good hands with the people at Delaware State University. So today we are going to run through a brief presentation just to give you a sense of how you navigate the Delaware State model. But most importantly, we're going to answer many of your questions. I have any number of my colleagues on the phone today to make sure that they are able to address your concerns. So I'm going to go around and just have each of them introduce themselves, and then we'll get right in the presentation, which will be brief. And most importantly, we'll get to your Q&A. So we'll first start with Dr. Stacy Downing. Dr. Downing?
Yes, good morning, everyone. And as Dr. Allen stated earlier, thank you for joining this forum because, again, you all are important to us, and we want to make sure that your transition and your path forward here at Delaware State University will be very successful. I am the newly appointed Chief Administrator of DSU Downtown. So I am now located at the downtown location in the College Center. So if you're residing on campus or if you have classes on campus, can't wait to meet and talk to you and then help you with any concerns that you may have in order to find some solutions for you. So again, welcome to a new academic year.
Thank you, Dr. Downing. Dr. Gwen Scott Jones.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Gwen Scott Jones. As the president just stated, I am the interim dean for the Wesley College of Health and Behavioral Sciences. It is my goal to make sure that each of you are getting what you need so that you can make sure that we can make sure that we are ensuring that you have academic excellence. So if you have any problems, make sure that you contact me. Later on in the presentation, I will make sure that you have my email address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scott Jones. Ms. Rhonda Thompson.
Registrar here at Delaware State University, and we are the Office of Records and Registration to make sure that all of your academic needs are met regarding your courses, your transcripts, and anything related to you matriculating through to degree conferral. Welcome to Delaware State University.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Ms. Terry Jeffries.
Good morning, I'm Terry Jeffries. Welcome to Delaware State University. I am the Assistant Dean for our graduate school, DSU Online, as well as our Blackboard Office of Distance Education Learning Technology. So for those of you who may have online courses as a part of your mix, we are here to support you and help in any way possible as you transition here to a new academic year. So welcome to Delaware State University.
Thank you, Terry. Ms. Shelvia Draper. Shelby, we can't hear you. Shelby,
Hear me?
there you go.
Good. Okay. Good morning again, and welcome to Delaware State University. My name is Shelvia Draper. I am the Associate Director of Operations within the Division of Strategic Enrollment Management. I'm here to service you and assist throughout your transition here at Delaware State University. Welcome again.
Thank you. Mr. Al Dorset, I think, just joined us.
Good morning, Dorset, Executive Director of Financial Aid, here to service all students and help them and assist them any way that we can.
And Dr. Michelle Fisher.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I am the Associate Vice President for Campus Health Services. I am passionate about ensuring the safety and well-being of the university community, and that includes all of our students. Welcome to the Hornet family, and I look forward to servicing you.
And then I think finally is Mr. Tony Boyle, the head of strategic enrollment. Tony?
Good morning. Thank you, President Allen. Good morning. Tony Boyle. I serve as Vice President for Strategic Enrollment Management and Student Affairs here at Delaware State University. We are all of our forward touch points report to me, and we are certainly excited to have you on this morning. And we're going to share a whole lot of information with you. This is being recorded, so you can go back and get it. But again, we have a lot of stuff so that we kind of give you all of what you need, let you know where to get it from and those things. So President Allen, turn it back over to you. We're looking forward to get it going.
Okay, so these are some great members of our senior leadership team. There are many more, but these folks are closest to you relative to what I imagine are many of your questions. So Mr. Boyle is going to take it away, go through a brief presentation. As I said, we'll open up for questions right after. Tony?
Yeah, thank you, President Allen. If we can load the deck, I will just introduce the front of this to all of our parents, students, to all of those that I've spoken to. I mean, as late last night as almost 10 o'clock, making sure we're returning phone calls and those. Keep asking your questions. Keep inquiring about what's next to be done. Let's be sure that we get it asked and answered, and we'll point you through a lot of what your students may have done in Zanzibar. Here's how it's done in Banner. We'll start off this morning with records and registration. Rhonda Thompson is here with you, our associate registrar for that area, to kind of walk you through all of those things that you would have done as a student when you started college that you may have to do over now, because it's also required on our side of the fence to ensure that part's covered. Rhonda, if you'll take it from here for us.
Mr. Boyle, good morning again. And with the Office of Records and Registration, provide many services. So the ones that you will see on the next slide that's in front of you, this is just a few of the many services that we do provide. So hopefully by now you have completed your pre-registration process, because classes do begin at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, August 30th. So if you haven't done that, or you need to finish some things with your registration of your schedule, make sure you get with your academic advisor or your program director to complete that process. So as far as schedule maintenance, all of the courses that you do see that are offered across main campus, our downtown Dover campus, our Wilmington campuses, as well as some of our international campuses, those schedules and those courses are maintained in the Office of Records and Registration. I checked this morning and we have over 3,400 sections of courses, and I do have some waiting to be added, so that number will increase through Monday and possibly through the end of next week. So we are maintaining all of the schedules and the courses that are provided throughout Delaware State University. Adding and dropping courses. When we went into the pandemic, we went to a process of DocuSign. So we didn't have paper forms, but if someone needs to do a paper form, we have those requests for adding and dropping courses within our office. You can just visit us to complete those, get the required signatures, and move those through the system. However, not want to do that, that's fine. We can go through the DocuSign process. You would meet with your academic advisor or program director. They will begin to initiate that process. Those forms will be signed electronically. We are the last signature in the records and registration office, and we will complete that process for adding and/or dropping courses that you request. Transcripts, another part of our record maintenance. So if you want an unofficial transcript or an official transcript, again, that comes out of our office. Unofficial transcripts, barring you have any pending holds on your student account, can go right to your banner self-service to print off your unofficial transcript for whatever you need. And you can definitely request an official transcript through our National Student Clearinghouse service. We are currently working on the process of getting e-transcripts, and once that is complete, that will be rolled out to the entire campus community. And while you're matriculating here at Delaware State University, you have access to 5 free official transcripts. And once you complete your degree, we include another complimentary. So you receive actually 6 free transcripts while you're here at Delaware State University. Next, we have applications of enrollment. These are typically requested for insurance purposes, for housing purposes, some things that you and/or your parents may need to verify that you are a student and/or a part-time or a full-time student. However, we do not release that information for verifications of enrollment typically until about 3 weeks into the semester, because we want to complete the non-documentation or the no-show policy to make sure that you actually do have a seat in courses on our campus. So we will receive those, and those processes can be done through DocuSign, or you can come visit our office and to receive a verification. Change of major. Also do this via DocuSign. You may decide right now you might be a business major, but then you thought, I want to be a teacher, or I want to go into nursing. We do process those change of major forms via DocuSign as well, and as well as in our office with a paper process. So once you get those, it's typically a 24-hour turnaround, and we can get your major updated with the assistance of your academic advisor. And with that, you will also possibly need to adjust your course schedule for the new major that you have changed into. A change in tuition rate. So for this purpose, at the admissions process, students are classified as in-state or out-of-state students. If for some reason you believe that your tuition rate is incorrect, there is a process that's through our website. It's not just completing or sending in forms or completing the application. You have to send in supporting documents. So part of a supporting document would be if you're military or you're receiving military benefits, that would be the DD-214 from you or your family member, or your certificate of eligibility to state what benefits you qualify for. So that change of tuition rate comes through our office as well for the process. And those are typically reviewed on a monthly basis. We're right now finishing up the ones that were submitted to us in August. And it is a committee, not just one person. It's a committee reviewing all of the documents to make sure that we are in compliance, because again, this is a federal, not a Delaware State only. This is a federal process. So we have to make sure that we're abiding by federal guidelines. Change in personal information. So if for some reason there is your personal email address, or you've moved to update a telephone number or a permanent or mailing address, you can also do that in our office, so that when you're requesting those documents, such as the verification of enrollment or your official transcript, we want to make sure that we have the correct mailing address and all of the other demographic information for you. And lastly, one of the things that's very important. So once you've completed 3 years or less at Delaware State University, because you can graduate within 3 years or less, once you've completed all degree requirements and your chairperson for your academic department deems it necessary to say that you have completed all of those academic requirements and you have satisfied any financial obligations to the university, your degree will be conferred, mailed out to you, and you are now an alum of Delaware State University. That is very important. Next, please. FERPA. This is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So Delaware State University, along with other colleges and universities across the country, are considered post-secondary institutions. And with that, you as a college student are guaranteed certain rights under FERPA. And if you have not completed this form already, we do have those in the office, and they are available via DocuSign as well. And that form can come out of admissions, or we can send that to you from the records office. So under FERPA, you have the right to inspect and review your records. And if for some reason you believe that there's something that's inaccurate or misleading in those records, you can request that you review those records for updates to those academic or your financial records or whatever the case may be regarding the misleading or inaccurate information. You also have the right to tell us at Delaware State University who to have access to your records. So if you complete a FERPA form and there is no one there, we and someone calls us for you, we can't even tell them that you exist at Delaware State University. We simply tell them we can't give them that information. We don't know who that person is. And if it's a parent, typically they might be a little upset because they've told you to possibly complete the form or they thought that you had completed the form. So they'll probably contact you as a student to complete the form. And once we have that information, we add that to the record so they will be able to see financial information on you, your academic information, certain information that we do disclose. So again, but you, even if you're 17 or 18 years old and you're a first-time college student, are considered an adult once you arrive at Delaware State University, and then you have that right to disclose that information.
Ms. Thompson, before you go, and I think this is really important because we get a lot of calls from parents. So parents, I just want to emphasize to you, if your student has not filled out the FERPA form and or has not put you on that FERPA form, we are not obligated by federal law to share any information about that student record with you until that student consents. It's very important, something we run into every year. And I know it can be frustrating, but it is the student's right. So unless you've had the conversation with your son or daughter, just know that if we do not have that FERPA form filled out with you as somebody who can have information, we can share information with, we cannot share that information whatsoever.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. Next slide, please. So my DESU. So this is where you go, or you've already done this, to create or reset your PIN that gives you access to Banner self-service. So you would simply type my.desu.edu. The left side of the page, you'll click Create Reset PIN. You must follow those PIN requirements. Anything outside of those requirements, you will not be able to create a PIN in order to access information. It's very sensitive to the information that should be entered and how it should be entered. So you must use a capital D for your D number, and you must also insert the slashes when you're entering your birth date, to-day month, to-day day, and the 4-day year. And you must also have the correct last 4 digits of your social. So make sure that you as a student, you know your social security number, because we do ask you for that on that side in order to create your PIN number. And lastly, the PIN can only be 6 characters total, no more, no less, but 6 total in following those requirements. And once you've created that PIN, now have access to Banner self-service, which is on the same page. So you can add and drop courses. And as I stated before, if your academic advisor has given you your alternate PIN number, you can do it right there on that My DESU page. If not, then you would go to your academic advisor to complete that process via the DocuSign form. You can also view and print your unofficial transcripts. You can see your bill, you can print your schedule and your financial aid award, along with your T98T tax form and the dynamic course schedule. Now, one thing that's very important when you're looking at your schedule on the Banner self-service side, we want you to make sure that you're printing or viewing the schedule that has all of your information, the dynamic course schedule. You don't want to look at the schedule that says day and time. Our courses are now online, so if you're printing something from the day and time side, online has no days, has no times. So when you print your schedule, you will not see that on your page, and that therefore you may miss going to that class within the first week and a half, and you may be submitted as a no-show because you're looking at the schedule that says day and time. You can look at that one later to kind of create your own schedule, but initially we want you to look at the dynamic course schedule that's just one particular page that shows every one of your courses. And also on the Banner self-service side, if you chose not to come into our office, You can update your personal information such as your telephone number, your personal email address, and your. You cannot change your DSU email address, but your personal email address can change. Next slide, please. All right, so at Delaware State University, we have 2 refund schedules when you're dropping courses. So one of our refund schedules is for the fall and spring semesters, and the next slide that I will go through will be for the summer and accelerated sessions. So for the refund schedule for the fall and spring semesters, from pre-registration, which we're already in, to the last day to add classes, which is Wednesday, September 8th, if you drop your courses, you will receive a 100% tuition refund, as well as 100% in your fees. During the second week, if you drop courses, only 80% of tuition, no fees. Third week, 60% of tuition and no fees. And after 3 full weeks of courses, if you drop your courses, you will not receive a refund in tuition nor fees. Next slide. And this is this refund schedule for the summer and accelerated sessions. And our accelerated sessions during these fall and spring semesters are 8 weeks total. So for it's pretty much the same schedule, from pre-registration to the last day to add is 100% in tuition and fees. 6 days or less, it's 80% and no fees. 9 days or less, 60% and no fees. And after 9 days, during the summer and the accelerated sessions, and you drop your courses, you will not receive a refund in tuition or fees. Next slide, please. Now, this is what I stated earlier, the no-show policy. And when you're looking at your academic calendar, it will read non-documentation for attendance, not no-show. So just know that those are two in the same. They're both in the same when you see your academic calendar. So I'm going to read this slowly and carefully so that we all understand what it actually means. Delaware State University's no-show policy is defined as all enrolled students are required to attend each class at least once before the last day to add classes in order to verify attendance. I'm going to add this really quickly. Even though we want you to attend all of your courses, you're required within that first week before the last day to add to attend at least once to verify attendance. Failure to verify attendance in a class before the last day to add the class will result in the student being processed as a no-show from the course. Course will be dropped from your schedule. All tuition and fees associated with the course or the courses that you're no-showed from are removed and no grade will be issued. Again, we have this come up often, especially when we have online courses. You still have to show a sign of light, and I think Ms. Jeffries will go over that later in her presentation as well. But you also have to show a sign of life in your online classes. Just because it's an online course doesn't mean that you just log in whenever you want to do the schedule or do your courses. By the due date, you do have to show a sign of life for the last day to add classes in order to verify attendance. And that last day to add classes is Wednesday, September 8th. Next slide, please. Okay, so adding and dropping classes during the add drop period. Signatures that are required, again, whether it's on the DocuSign form that's electronic or on the paper form that we have in our office, you, the student, the academic advisor. The instructor will sign if the class has already begun or if the class is closed, because they also want to keep count of how many students are enrolled in their courses. So, and required signatures after the last day and if the course is closed are you, the student, the academic advisor, the instructor, and the dean. And typically adding classes after the last day to add, which is almost 2 weeks into the semester, the instructor has to also gauge, shall I say, whether you're able to keep up or catch up with the work that you have missed within that first week, week and a half. So if the instructor believes that you're not able to catch up, then the instructor will not allow you into the course. And if the instructor believes that you are, then it's up to the dean. And if there are extenuating circumstances, the dean will allow you to also drop a course after the last day to drop a course. So we want to make sure that we set you up for success even after the last day to drop a course, because if it's on a Wednesday, you get all of your signatures on a Thursday or a Friday, you've already missed 2 weeks into the course and you're 2 weeks behind, because once classes start on Monday, we do hit the ground running with first assignments that are due. Next slide, please. Our grade policy, dropping classes after the add period. When dropping a course after the add drop period for the fall and spring semesters and 3 days into the summer session has passed, students will receive a W or a withdrawal on their transcript. A WF is a grade for an unofficial withdrawal. That means that after the 60% date of the semester for financial aid, you have just stopped showing up. The instructor will then give you a WF, and they also will enter a last date of attendance for that particular grade. Retaking courses. So you've dropped a course, you received a W, or you received a WF. You want to retake that same course and receive a higher grade, or even if you've dropped a class, or if you've earned a D or a C in a class and you want to retake it to possibly get an A or a B for the course. Once that happens, that retake and that course grade comes in, the lowest grade that you receive for that same course will be excluded from your GPA, and the passing grade will be included. Now, hear me when I say this clearly. When you receive a W or an F, or you retake a course, regardless of the grade, no final grades will be removed from your record. It is a part of your entire academic history. It's just not included in your cumulative GPA. It will remain on your transcript. Next slide, please. And finally, a few things that we want you to take note of. Check your DESU email regularly and often. This is how we communicate with you. Communicate with you through Yahoo, your Gmail, or any other email account outside of your DESU account. So make sure that you're checking that one right at your fingertips. Your registration connects you to the university. So once you've registered for courses, a bill is generated, your housing can be solidified, you are now connected to Delaware State University once you register for your courses. And again, the registration triggers the bill and your charges. So if you have scholarships or if you have loans and additional financial aid, we have to see that you're registered for courses before those monies are paid out. And again, My DESU, make that your friend. Your academic information, your calendar information, your financial information, all of that information can be received right there on that page, the My DESU page. I think that's it for me. Thank you very much, Mr. Boyle.
Thanks, Rhonda. We appreciate that. If we can go, Al Dorset, financial aid.
Good morning again, everyone. As I stated earlier, Al Dorset, Office of Financial Aid, and the Office of Financial Aid is here to assist students. It's a twofold process, pushing to assist students, but at the same time, making sure that we remain in compliance with federal, state, and institutional regulations. We can move on to the next slide. So first, an explanation. Every student, as required by the federal government, receives a cost of attendance when it comes to financial aid. The cost of attendance is not the student's actual bill. It is an estimate or budget based off direct costs pushed out and published. Tuition fees, general fees, as well as room and board can be direct costs or indirect costs. When we talk about direct costs are expenses directly related and charged to the Delaware State University. Room and board may be a direct cost if a student lives on campus, or indirect cost if a student stays at home. Either way, that is part of a student's budget based off federal government regulations. We can move on to the next slide. Indirect costs are an estimate of what it may cost a student. So what we do is tend to have a survey across the student population, asking them what is their average cost of books and supplies, personal expenses, transportation. So every student that receives an award letter, the award letter has their cost of attendance on there, as well as the awards that they're eligible to receive based off that student completing the FAFSA. Again, the cost of attendance is not your actual charge. For each student's actual charge, they should go, as Ms. Thompson stated, to their My DSU banner self-service. Under the Student Services portal, they will see account summary by term, which will show their actual bill for the specific term, any financial aid that may be credited to their account or paid to their account, depending on when they look at that bill and whether they have a remaining cost, no cost at all, or even a credit balance of more financial aid than what the bill is, which comes back to the student. We can go on to the next slide. So that My DSU banner self-service is very important. Let me stress, very important. First importance of it. Students, in order to be eligible for federal student aid in many of our institutional scholarships, you are required to complete a FAFSA. Once we are notified that you've completed your FAFSA because we receive it from the federal government. Now, it's very key here because we help each other. By logging into your My DSU banner self-service and clicking on the financial aid tab, a student can look at requirements and confirm that we have actually received their FAFSA. Unfortunately, unless we get some type of confirmation or communication, we don't know that a student has completed a FAFSA. So we help each other because that's the student's first point of contact to see, did Delaware State University receive my FAFSA? If for any reason you did your FAFSA and you do not see under requirements that we received your FAFSA, you definitely want to contact the Office of Financial Aid so we can start working together to see what happened and get your FAFSA in the system. We can go on to the next slide. Once we receive the student's FAFSA, on that requirements, we ask the student actually to go ahead and sign up with our third-party partner, Campus Logic. And it's our desu.verifymyfafsa.com. There, it not only allows us to send our award letters to the student, but if a student has been selected for verification, if a student needs to do a special condition, if a student needs to submit any type of documentation, that's where a student can go and submit that documentation electronically. We've heard students for years, I sent in my documentation, I faxed my documentation, no one has it. Now we've created a portal through this third-party partner where students can easily upload their documents. The communication goes out that the counselor has reviewed the documents, if additional documentation is needed, and why that additional documentation is needed. So that eligibility piece and the requirements piece is a big piece for students to start once they have completed their FAFSA. And again, just for any student to make sure, our school code is 001428. There are instances when a student may have completed FAFSA, but they forgot to put our school code on it. As well as in some cases, a student has completed FAFSA, but when they did their admissions application or their information came over, we did not have a record of their social security number. In order for the school to pull in or process a FAFSA from the federal government, there's a three-piece match. Students' name, student social security number, and their birth date. So we want to make sure that we have that in our system. We can move on to the next slide. And as I said, that banner self-serve. A student can see their student requirements under the financial aid tab. They can see their estimated cost of attendance. They can see their financial aid award. And students can see their academic progress. One of the federal government requirements is at the end of each semester, the federal government does require us to run satisfactory academic progress. Federal government has regulations in which a student has to maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA and be completing at least 66.67% of their courses to maintain federal financial aid. So students, at the end of every semester, we send communication to all students that have received financial aid, letting them know that satisfactory academic progress has been run, and they can check it under their banner self-service. Also, again, as we say, that desu.verifymyfafsa.com. We want students to sign up for an account. You never know if you're going to be selected for verification. You never know if the federal government is going to require more information from you. As a Title IV aid school, we are required to follow federal government guidelines and policies. So if they select a student or need additional documentation, that's what we use to communicate directly with the student, as well as let the student upload all information so we can process them officially. We can move on to the next slide. And just an example of our online mobile account again, how to sign up, that dsu.verifymyfafsa.com. A student will use their DSU email as the username and their D number as the password to initially sign in. They'll confirm their information as it matches on the FAFSA. And once they confirm their information, it will tell them congratulations and if they need to submit any documentation or if everything is fine and they can move forward. We can go on to the next slide. Students, definitely we push out as well. Look at those requirements. Even after a student has processed their financial aid and we've awarded the student, there are some additional requirements that sometimes need to be met. For instance, students who are first-time loan borrowers, federal loan borrowers at Delaware State University are required to complete an entrance counseling and a master promissory note. So even if you are at another institution and you completed the entrance counseling and master promissory note there, you still need to complete one based on federal government guidelines at Delaware State University. Additionally, when we award a student and a student can see their awards, there is a terms and conditions that we ask students to read because that gives a full overlay of all federal financial aid guidelines for students to have a better understanding of how to maneuver while paying for school. And we offer federal student loans. We cannot require students to accept them and accept them for them automatically. So as an offer status, students should go in and look at their packaging to see if they want their federal loans. If they choose to, they can accept them all, they can reduce their federal loans, or they can decline their federal loans. Next slide. That is it for the Office of Financial Aid. Again, we are here to assist students as much as possible. In any way, please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you, Al. We do appreciate that. And we'll now call on Shelvia Draper to give us student account information.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Good morning again, Hornet family. I will be highlighting a few areas that are important in the Office of Student Accounts. Similar to your business office over in Wesley, you may be familiar with Ms. Adele Flem or Sasha Lee. So I'll just go ahead and touch on some of those functions that we cover here in our Student Accounts office. Next slide. All right, Student Accounts accountability. We are responsible for the billing and collections of tuition and fees, explanation of charges such as campus housing and meal plans, also a health insurance fee waiver. A lot of students are not familiar with that, but I want to make sure I include that in the conversation today so students are aware of that, and possibly Dr. Fisher can touch points on that later on in the presentation. We also resolve balances and process credit balances. We also put holds on students' accounts and process late fees. Again, we are responsible for billing due dates, payment plans, and credit balance process and refunds. Next slide. So some options to pay. In our office, of course, cash is always accepted. We accept cash payments through our cashier's office, cashier and certified checks. We do have a Nelnet Enterprise portal. Students are looking to enroll in our payment plan. We do accept credit, debit cards, Discover, MasterCard, and Visa, personal checks as well, wire transfers through our finance department, external scholarships. So any student that may have an external scholarship through your church or your parents' job, occupation, we do accept those external scholarships as well, and also additional financial aid resources are some of the options to pay here at the DSU. All right. So we do have a unique book voucher program here. Any student that has account balance of $500 or more, there's an automated process where a book voucher is automatically processed on your account at no request is required. So there's something very unique here at DSU. So I just want to highlight that so students are aware of that. Next slide. Here again, we do have a GET in the Buzz Card program. This GET program is a resource for all of our students. Basically, it's a website where you and your parents can manage your Buzz Card. Your Buzz Card, and a lot of students always ask, what's the Buzz Card? It is simply your identification card. It's your campus ID card. But you can go to this, our My DSU self-service page to access the account. There you can view your balances and transactions. You can request laundry, print vouchers, book vouchers. You can add on flex dollars to be able to eat and We have a Dunkin' Donuts on campus, Chick-fil-A, we have a Subway. Any of those eateries, you can add on flex dollars to be able to eat across campus. You can also request commuter meal plans. So if we have any commuter students on the call today, you can go to that GET program to do that. You can also report a card lost or stolen through this program. Again, you want to visit your MyDSU self-service page, and there's a small icon on the bottom that says GET. So again, those are some of the highlights for a GET program. Next slide, please. Again, the ID Smart Card is simply your DSU campus card. Each student is required to have a smart card. Again, it's your student ID card. It allows you access into all of our dining halls here on the main campus and downtown campus, access to our meal services if applicable, the library, on campus student activities. Again, you must be financially clear. Some of the student activities, a big one, homecoming, right? So make sure that you have your student ID card to be able to participate in those events. Provides access to our auxiliary services such as the bookstore, printing, and laundry services. It must be validated by the Office of Student Accounts once you are financially clear. If it is lost, damaged, or stolen, there is a $50 replacement cost. Remember, if you have no card, there is no service. So it's very important, if you have not already, take advantage of getting your ID card for the campus. Next slide. And a few reminders. Again, I just wanted to highlight some of the tips across the Student Accounts Office. You want to make sure you check your DSU email account often. You want to view your financial aid and student account frequently for any updates. Make sure you have satisfied all financial aid requirements with the Office of Financial Aid with Mr. Dorsett and his team, and make sure your account is satisfied to be able to utilize all of the campus resources here. Back to you, Mr. Boyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby. Mr. President, we'll turn it back over to you. We do have a few questions to point out later. At this time, we'll turn it back over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you to all of you for your helpful information. I want to emphasize a couple of points because I've heard it from some Wesley students and parents. Very important to check your DESU emails. Very important. Also very important to use your DSU emails to get into some of the systems that you have just seen. All that information is there. Your information was transferred over from Wesley, so we do have it here. But if you want material concerns relative to your account, scholarship awards, financial aid, many of the things that Ms. Draper just talked about, it's really important that you go into my DESU and or check your DESU email. Okay, I know we only have about 18 minutes or so for Q&A, so I want to get right to it. Russell, just go right through the questions as they are in the chat.
Dr. Allen, there are no questions in the chat or Q&A at this time.
No questions in the chat or Q&A at this time. Tony, Mr. Boyle, let's talk a little bit about scholarships. So there have been any number of questions from Wesley students about their scholarships not coming over to Delaware State. Let's talk about the cost of former Wesley College and Delaware State University. And then let's talk quickly about the other opportunities that exist with respect to Delaware State from a financial aid and scholarship standpoint.
Yes, President Allen, as you all know, we are significantly cheaper than Wesley College. With one exception, we did maintain the cost of the MOT program, and our president solved and met with those students and provided some opportunities here with us. We are a Thurgood Marshall Scholarship School as well, so we do have external sources of funds that students can certainly dial into. Many of you that I have met with, we looked and reviewed your case by case, your basis, what you had as your program. Many of you that were in the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences, we provided some opportunities for you. So there are available funds for students to have. I will put my email address as well in the chat to ensure that you can reach out to us directly. I will then navigate your case to where it needs to be so we can help you. Funds are available here to help. It's important as you go into my DSU in the portal that you review, not going on the website and seeing what our COA is or cost of attendance. No, in your portal, what are my charges? And then from those charges, literally we can then apply aid to those charges. And like I said, there are opportunities to fund your education here. As a matter of fact, I've spoken to many of you on the phone and we kind of walk you through, and then you realize, oh, I'm actually getting a refund check back. I actually don't owe money. So it's important that we go through those processes. Everything that we do will come from your Delaware to your Delaware State University email address. We will not use another one. So when, for example, I may have asked students that you may have sent me a Gmail email account, and I said, well, no, please respond to me through the DSU email account, because that routes you in navigational wise easier into our system, because our blockers in the system to ensure our system is safe automatically is going to put your Gmail account and take it through our full protocol here, which actually slows things down for you. So funds are available. And I know some of you, for example, will say, I had an account hold that's based on my financial aid. On account holds, be sure that you email me so we can resolve those. We have resolved many of those this morning. So I know parents that say, well, I have an account hold. So finances on one side, account holds on the other. There are dollars to solve the financial aid piece of it, and removing the holes that were Wesley holes are also being done on this side as well too, Mr. President.
Thank you, Tony. Ms. Thompson, let's talk a little bit about scheduling. I've had a couple of Wesley students coming concerned about how to schedule their classes. I know you went through that in brief during your presentation, but I want to re-emphasize that point.
Kevin Dickerson came by. Kevin Dickerson from IT came by. I thought he worked on my volume, but I see he didn't, but we'll get it taken care of, no problem.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so as far as scheduling your courses, for those of you who have not, and you did advise us at Delaware State University that you wanted all of your academic information from Wesley to come over. So we have that information in the system. So you do have a major. The major was something that's different from what was at Wesley. We actually created that major for you so that you could definitely stay on track once we added the major and the courses. So depending on your major, you want to reach out to your academic advisor. Now, the Office of Student Success, they are located on the second floor of the library, and on the Office of Student Success page on our website, all of the academic advisors are listed there in alpha order, depending on your academic major. So again, you would go there first to meet with the academic advisor, or simply just go to the website, email them, and they do have WebEx room set up. I do know that. They have WebEx room set up. They have Google number set up as well. So you can definitely reach them via the web or in person on the second floor of the library to get your courses scheduled.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Dr. Downing, we talked a little bit about the DSU downtown. That is what we're calling the Old Wesley College. With respect to being downtown, I imagine many of our former Wesley students, particularly in the College of Health and Behavioral Science, will be taking classes there, but they'll also be taking classes on the main campus. Could you talk a little bit about the service, the shuttle service we'll be providing on that score?
Yeah, so great question. I could probably give you a couple of updates on other services as well. So today, again, check your your DSU email. We will be providing the shuttle schedule for you to get back and forth to campus. And also those shuttles will be providing services to other areas in Dover, Walmart, Target, Med Express. So again, that schedule is going to be posted and sent out at some point today. My goal is hopefully they'll send it out by noon. So if you have moved in yesterday or moving in today, you should be able to get back and forth to campus. Also, there's a lot of activities that are occurring this weekend that we do want you to participate in. And again, it's going to be very critical that you know what the schedule will be. Your access, again, as Ms. Draper talked about earlier, your student ID gives you access to all of our dining services. So please take advantage of those dining services on main campus as we're preparing to begin some services at DSU downtown as well, beginning on Monday. So we're bringing many services online. We're excited about providing those services to you. We ask you to be patient, but we're working very, very diligently to make sure that you have access to those services.
Thank you, Dr. Downing. Dr. Gwen Scott Jones, I know there are some things happening with respect to the nursing program in particular, and you and Dr. Richardson spending time with that cohort of students. Could you talk to us a little bit about what they need to know and any information meetings that may be coming up?
Yes, sir. On Monday, there will be a virtual meeting held by the nursing department for the juniors and seniors from 2 to 3. That WebEx link should be going out today. And at that juncture, the students can ask any questions about the program. And they'll have a panel of the nursing faculty there, as well as myself, to answer any of those questions.
Thank you, Dr. Scott Jones. Can you tell us a little bit about what the other programs are in the Western College of Health and Behavioral Sciences and how many of them will be at DSU downtown?
Okay, we have the psychology department, social work department, public and allied health, kinesiology, masters of occupational therapy. We have approximately 70 courses that will be offered at the downtown DSU. At this juncture, by Monday or over the course of the weekend, it is important that every student at least log into Banner as well as Blackboard to see to check your schedule, as well as check for your course syllabus. Your course syllabus will have on it your mode of instruction, as well as the location of where your course will be. It is extremely important that you make sure that you check in on your DSU email accounts, as well as Blackboard and Banner pertaining to your courses.
Thank you, Dr. Scott Jones.
Welcome.
Ms. Jeffries, just make sure everybody knows what Blackboard is.
Thank you. Good morning. I was trying to respond to the message in the chat. Yes, all classes are held through Blackboard, and it's a repeated theme today to make sure that you go to My DESU. And when you go to My DESU, if you scroll to the right of the page, not far from the bottom, you're going to see the icon for Blackboard, and that is how you will log in to see your courses. And the courses now are already loaded in to Blackboard, and you should have availability and be able to see your courses as you have registered for those courses. You would use the same sign-on as your email address because it's single sign-on. So just the same way you log in to check your DSU email account will be the same credentials you will use to log into Blackboard. Once you click on the icon in self-service for Blackboard, there is a tutorial there in the middle about how to log into Blackboard and how to navigate the LMS. Also, many of you will be taking classes and naturally online courses, have assignments due at 11:59 p.m. or something along those lines. Naturally, our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, but you do have support 24/7 with our Blackboard help desk. And then on that same page, there is a toll-free number where you can call and request support from our Blackboard support offices 24/7, as I stated. There's also during the day, if you can't get someone by phone on our team, you can also send an email to blackboard@desu.edu, and that goes to all of our team, including myself. So we will troubleshoot during the day any questions and answers that you may have. And please look out for e-news because there will be a training for new students starting next week, daily onboarding as it relates to Blackboard, Monday at 3 p.m., Tuesday at 9 a.m., Wednesday at 1 p.m., Thursday at 11 a.m., and Friday at 2 p.m. So that will help acclimate you to any of the challenges that you may be having as it relates to Blackboard. Our online success coach will be hosting a virtual meet and greet on Monday for any students who are new to DSU Online. And so she should be, Kesia Cunningham, you should have received an email from her welcoming you to join virtually in a meet and greet for our online students. Thank you, Dr. Allen.
Great, thank you, Jeffries. Thank you, Jeffries. All right, Russell, is there a question in the queue?
Yes, we do have a couple of questions in the queue.
Okay.
One is regarding online classes. Are the meetings through Blackboard? Previously, we used Zoom, or is it under the professor's discretion in whatever they decide? So the student wants to know, do they meet via Blackboard or through Zoom for online classes?
Sure.
Ms. Jeffries?
Yes, so all of the classes, I would encourage you to log into Blackboard where your professor, your instructor will tell you how they will be meeting. We prefer Collaborate Ultra, which is built into the courses. However, some of our instructors may choose to use Zoom or WebEx, or even Teams. So definitely check your course syllabus, look at the announcements in the course, but your first point of entry is to log into Blackboard and go to the announcement column once you're logged into your course. And there you will see any instructions specific for your course. If you have any questions, the instructor is there, as well as the chairperson is also listed in that course. So if there's any questions that happen, the chairperson as well as the instructor are receiving information and questions about the course. So rest assured that we're here to support you.
Thank you, Ms. Jeffries. Any other questions in the queue, Russell?
Yes. So we have questions regarding IDs and parking passes. When should I be receiving my ID? Also, if I apply for a parking permit, when should I receive those?
Tony, you want to take that with your team?
Of course, for your IDs, in our MLK Student Center on the first floor, if you come in the main entrance to your left, you can certainly pick your IDs up there. And for those, as relates to your pass information, our police station is in the middle of a campus. So if you come onto main campus, straight in front of you to your right will be the MLK Center. To your left will be the Price Building. Right behind the Price Building is actually where, in the middle of campus, is where our police department is. You certainly can pick that up there as well. Your parking credentials to our students. Those are both in the same area in terms of operations. So both your ID and both your parking credentials are handled by our police department and our security teams that are on campus, and they certainly can help you navigate through that. So if you've taken your ID, they will have told you when to come back to pick it up. And certainly if you've submitted the forms, which will be your driving information, your insurance and those things, and then the approval for those, all of that is there as well too. So if you have done all those things and you've not heard back, I did put my email address in the chat. Email me. Let's be sure to get you where you need to be to solve for that. So like I said, IDs and parking are both in the same department, same area. If you've gotten instructions of what you needed to do or you don't have those, just email me. We certainly will get you where you need to be as well.
And if I could just add to the parking piece, you can also look on our website. There are a couple of parking lots if you're a commuter student that are free, that you can park there. I think still lot 1 is free for visitors, students, faculty, and staff. So again, look on the website and it will give you a listing. It's not many free parking lots that you can park. But again, if you're a commuter coming on campus a couple times a week, there are some spaces you can park without having a parking permit.
Great. Okay, Russell, any additional questions in the queue?
Yes, we have one. I think this is for Dr. Fisher. It's regarding the physicals that are due on the first day. The student says the link to submit the physical isn't working for them. They're aware that they have to mail it. Will this impede them from attending class?
At this late date, I would prefer them to email it, and they can email it to studenthouse2020@desu.edu, and I've already put that email address in the chat.
Great. Any additional questions, Russell?
I think the last one I see here, when is the nursing student orientation on Monday?
Dr. Scott Jones.
Yes, it will be virtual by this afternoon. The link will be submitted to all students, all juniors and seniors, and it will be 2 to 3 Monday.
2 to 3 on Monday.
virtual.
Okay, first, let me thank all my colleagues for this effort. Students and parents, I want you to know that Delaware State has a university forum every Tuesday at 11 for the foreseeable future. In that forum, we always have topics that we think you need to know about, but we also have a robust Q&A. You should put those dates in your calendar should you have any of those questions. In the interim, though, there is no person on campus, including myself, that won't take a meeting with you, that won't respond to your emails, that won't try to get an answer for you to help you navigate this institution. If you are having said trouble, you can contact anybody on this screen, including myself, so that we can get you to the finish line. You are now a Delaware State University student, and we're very proud of that. And we want you to get to the finish line like we all want all of our students to get to the finish line. So if we need to do more of these special sessions, we'll do that too. You can also count on this particular session being sent out to your emails and on social media. So please feel free to share broadly. Share broadly. The more information we have, the more we're able to over communicate to you, the better your process is going to be here at your new alma mater. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Hope you will continue to do well. We believe in you. And we thank you for choosing us. Have a great, great weekend. Take care.